Video on Virgo moon. So the moon is largely to do with how we were nurtured by our mother. It's our emotional self. Often it's referred to the part of us that we're more in touch with when we're on our own, or it's the more private part of who we are. It's our emotional reactions to things, and it's largely to do with how we allow our feelings to be expressed and how we express them. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's a very logical, rational sign. So when you put the emotions, which essentially are about impulses, and emotions aren't necessarily logical, they can be seen as irrational. When you put the emotions with a rational sign, it kind of creates a bit of a disharmony, because the natural impulse to be chaotic with certain emotions, whether it's anger or joy or anything spontaneous really, the emotions as they come up, Virgo likes to analyse and to make sense of, and to kind of compartmentalise to some degree. So but then we get this mismatch between the emotion impulse coming up and the thought process saying, why am I having that emotion? So Virgo moons tend to have a capacity to micromanage the emotions that come up. So, so for example, a water sign, if they were experiencing an emotion, it might just come out, and they wouldn't necessarily think, where is this emotion coming from? What's the consequence of this emotion? It would just come out, and they would deal with that later. And Virgo feels an emotion and rationalizes what it is before allowing it to come out to the other. Virgos love to feel, Virgo moons love to feel like they have a purpose, and that they are in some way, shape or form providing an act of service. But there's a humility with that, because they're not going around expecting people to praise them and appreciate them outwardly. But there is this emotional need to be of use or usefulness to the people that they care about. And it can become out of proportion sometimes, because they don't expect this appreciation. But on a deep level, if they're constantly giving to other people and looking for the things that need fixing, and fixing them before people have even noticed there was a problem, they can start to feel unappreciated. And this can make Virgo moons feel like there's a burden and a duty on them sometimes. Because they're so good at making sure the environment is perfect, or they look for flaws and they try and fix them so there's a sense of harmony. Because they're so good at that, other people don't necessarily notice straight away that they've been helping them. And it's only when the Virgo moon leaves your life that you suddenly realise how much they were doing for you. So Virgo moons, they're not expecting this accolade, but they to appreciate them goes a long way. They might push it away if you say thank you for doing that. They might make it seem less than. Oh no, it's okay. They don't necessarily want the praise, but it will go a long way if you allow them to if you notice what they've been doing for you. So Virgo moons, having said that, are very, very aware of their environment. So they can come across in a negative way sometimes as a bit nitpicky, but it's only because they're able to sense in the environment what's not working. They're very, very good at that. So they're fantastic troubleshooters. They're very good at, if they have a project, if they have something, to really channel that ability to see what needs fixing into something beneficial. Very, very happy Virgo moon. If there's too many things going wrong at the same time, they can try and they become unsettled because there's just too much. So they need a lot of space and time on their own to process what's going on. They don't appreciate being engulfed And to some extent, sometimes I've seen with Virgo moons that when you have a strong emotional reaction, they step back slightly. They're not too sure how to be with a spontaneous, large emotional reactions. It's not that they can't handle it. It's just it's like speaking another language to a Virgo moon. So they manage their emotions very, very tightly. Generally, they are quite health conscious, because they're aware of what goes in and what goes out, to their bodies. And it might even just be more environmental. So I'm not saying every Virgo moon is going to be a vegan or exercise or that type of thing, but there's this sense of purity and cleanliness with them. So either it's purity in the thoughts or purity in the body. There's this need for things to be clean, for that sense of purity within the system. And if there's not, so because they're not expressing the chaos of emotions, because they micromanage it, they can get digestive issues, because emotions are really supposed to come out. So if we internalize them, it does impact our gut. So the Virgo moon might periodically experience symptoms of whether it's IBS or stomach cramps or food sensitivities, because their body is trying to work through some of this holding in of the emotional content. So it's great for Virgo moon to have a ritual or an exercise routine or some way that they can allow this inner pressure to come out physically. What else can I say about Virgo moon? Often very, very smart. You know, they don't miss a thing. You might not notice that they've noticed, but they really don't miss anything. They're so switched on to the environment and what you're saying, and it matters to them. It matters to them. Generally have good memories as well. So it is really important for being in a relationship with the Virgo moon that you remember the things that they've said and the things that they've done for you, because it's very, very easy for them to feel unappreciated. They do so much for the people in their lives and really don't expect very much back. So just to really put it out there for all the Virgo moons in the world, if you have one in your life, let them know they're appreciated.